Welcome to the Building Doors Podcast, where we're not just pushing for opportunities for women's voices to be heard, we're creating them. I'm Christy Harst, voiceover actor and creator of the Building Doors campaign. Join us as we amplify voices, break barriers, and build doors together. Welcome to the Building Doors Podcast. I'm your host, Christy Harst, and today is a special episode, and here's why. We are not in my studio. I actually got out of my padded room where I talk to myself all day, and I'm talking to a person outside there. I'm so happy to be outside the booth. We are at the W Sports Bar in Cleveland, Ohio, located, and I'm going to get the address right, at 5428. It's on the door behind the camera on Detroit Road. And Building Doors is partnering with the W later tonight to host a special event in honor of the Super Bowl, which is tomorrow. So today, the other special reason why this is a special podcast is not only because I'm out of my studio, but because we have the amazing Allison Kwan, who is from the Cleveland Guardians. Welcome.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So here's what I want to start with, just because we kind of talked about it before.
Yep.
Please state your official title.
I can do that.
Of the Cleveland Guardians.
I am the manager of engagement and belonging.
Engagement and belonging.
Yeah.
It's 2026, and her title is engagement and belonging. You get where I'm going, right? So recently, positions like yours have been either cut or renamed as something else by many organizations, and especially in sports and male-dominated sports.
Yeah, for sure.
The first opportunity that organizations had to ditch those, they took them.
Yep.
I am so proud that I live in a city, Cleveland, Ohio, where teams like the Cavs and the Guardians did not do that.
Right.
They kept their promise to diversity and inclusion. And so I want to talk to you about your job and what you do for Cleveland and the MLB team, the Guardians.
Yeah. I love my job. Plain and simple, I love my job. It is such an honor to not only work for a Major League Baseball team, but in this specific capacity as well. I think I never knew a job like this even existed until I met my supervisor. And I was like, whoa, I can care about people and work in sports. Those are like my two favorite things. Let me do that. So that's kind of what we do. We focus our work in a lot of different areas, on our internal employees, on our fans, and even in our city too, because we know we are the Cleveland Guardians. So without the city, we're not much.
And how did you get to this position?
Such a great question. So before I worked for the Guardians, I actually worked at John Carroll University.
Yay, John Carroll.
Go Streaks. Yeah. I was their assistant athletic director for operations. And it was right around after the Guardians had the name change. My supervisor was coming to campus to do a presentation on the name change. So I was like, well, I need to go to that. And I went to that. I talked to him, met him, and they just kind of stayed in his business for 2 years after that until he broke down and I finally got hired. So
no joke.
Yeah, I actually went through the interview process twice for this role. And so I didn't let it get me down the first time that it was a no. And I feel so much more prepared for it now. And
so interesting.
Yeah, I know.
So when you say you went through the interview process twice, does that mean the first time you didn't get the job?
Right. Yep.
So it went to someone else. And then how quickly did they come back around?
About a year.
You were meant for that.
Right? Yeah, no, it was great because my supervisor had a conversation with me after the first time too. And that also kind of helped me keep that relationship and not feel so down about it. Because he was like, it's a no for now, but stay in touch.
Way to go. Yeah, man, that's amazing.
Thank you. And I attended everything I possibly could. Baseball games included, but everything they were at, I was there.
So let's talk about your day-to-day, because I'm curious, that's a great title.
Yeah.
But everybody can have great titles, right?
Totally.
But what does it mean in your day-to-day? Talk about what you're tasked with.
Gosh, it's different every day, and I love that. We have a couple of bigger things that we do. So we have what we call Guards in the City, which is us bringing the ballpark to different communities. So we will be at different festivals or parades and things like that. So we'll be at Pride in the CLE. We'll be at the Cleveland Asian Festival. So coordinating a lot of the different things that have to go with that. So sponsorships and tabling, all that kind of stuff. And then we have 5 what we call jewel events that are our community celebrations. So it's 5 times a year where we take over the ballpark for a specific community. And so we have an AAPI night, we have a Pride night, we have a Black Excellence night, we have a Disability Pride night, and we have what we call Noche Latina, which is Hispanic heritage. So a lot goes into that because we try to really make sure people know something's going on at the ballpark.
I
That's
love
different.
that.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is that those events, specifically your 5 Jewel events,
Yeah.
just those alone build community.
Oh my God. I wish we probably started them 4 or 5 years ago, and I've grown up a Cleveland baseball fan. And if I would have been able to sit in the stands and see myself around me, that would have changed the game.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What a powerful statement.
And I'm so honored to be able to be that for somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about what these events, like, do you have any juicy stories or do you have any warm stories about somebody coming up and saying something like you just said, like, I'm so happy to see myself?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's an opportunity to bring people together in a space where they don't often congregate. So I think there's been a lot of different times where people have felt like I belong here. And one that's like really unique, I think, is a lot of times, at least the past few years, we will do a resource fair on the concourse prior to the game. And so we bring in a lot of nonprofits, local organizations to kind of set up shop and, be able to tell your story. And one of those nonprofits was able to actually secure a board member out of those conversations. And we like to think of ourselves as conveners. There's not a whole lot that's special to what we do except for bringing people into a place together. And I think that's a huge example of how powerful that can be.
That's a great example, actually. And it's so Cleveland, too.
Right.
Cleveland is a larger city, but it has such that great, everybody knows there's less than 6 degrees of separation in Cleveland.
Totally.
Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. Let's talk about women's voices.
Yeah.
Because this is Building Doors, and this is all about advocating for women's voices to be heard in spaces that they've never been heard before.
Yep.
So I don't know if you know this or not, but on opening day, 67% of all the ads broadcast in opening day games were voiced by men.
Gotcha.
That's a lot. It's a lot. Right.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl, last year's Super Bowl, 85% of all the ads were voiced by men.
I wish that was surprising.
No, it's not surprising. My question to you is, I have heard in speaking to lots of women that they feel like brands don't cater to them. They almost act like they don't want their money when women hold 83% of the global purchasing power worldwide.
Yep.
And women want more than a pink logoed hat night and a glass of wine at the stadium.
Yes, absolutely. I don't shop in the women's section for that very reason.
Right? So I'm so glad that we're on the same wavelength here. So what are you doing in your position, or what does your organization do to kind of combat those stats and those experiences?
I think there's levels to it, right? So sometimes it's as simple as me being in the room when I'm the only woman in the room.
Does that happen?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And sometimes there's meetings where it's like, well, you don't have to come if you don't want to come. And then I'll look at the invite list and it's all men. So, well, I know I have to be there.
That's right, sister.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love being empowered to be able to do that. But on other levels too, we have what we call our RBI program, which is basically revitalizing baseball and softball in the city. And so we are really focusing a lot of our efforts in the softball space as well. People see us as baseball, but we're really trying to uplift those voices as well. We have what we call affinity group of women who work in the organization, and that group is partnering with our RBI softball team to kind of be mentors for them. So that's going to be a really cool thing to, you can see yourself in that position one day.
Yes. Can we talk more about what you said about being the only woman in the room?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say who told me this, but I was speaking with a reporter who is a reporter for the MLB, and so she travels the country, goes to games. She's a young woman. Typically the only woman in a press box, and typically the youngest by far in the press box. And one of the things that she said to me when I was speaking with her is that, Christy, I travel to the head offices of all these different major league teams.
Yep.
And it's very much a copy and paste situation. where you could literally take the same group of Ivy League white men wearing quarter zips
Yeah.
and put them in all these different headquartered, it's all the same.
Mhm.
So I can only imagine that being the only woman
Yeah.
in the room
Mhm.
in that type of environment that I just painted, this picture I painted,
Mhm.
can be challenging.
Yeah.
How do you make your voice heard in those meetings?
Mhm.
How do you not get your voice suppressed?
Mhm. Well, I start by getting the same haircut as them. And that works pretty well.
Yes.
But I feel like in those spaces, a lot of times, at least this is the way I feel, where I feel like I have to prove myself.
Every woman does, yes.
Yeah, I feel like I have to prove why I should be there and make sure I'm saying things that sound really smart and well thought out, when counterparts are
They don't care.
not doing that. So yeah, I just try to make sure that I'm bringing perspective. And the way that I do it is a lot of times I ask questions to kind of get the room to get to where I'm thinking.
Okay.
So instead of it being, here's what I'm thinking, and that's the bottom line, it's let's create a group conversation so that we can all come to the same conclusion about the inclusivity of women and other marginalized groups. So how can we say who's missing here, or what perspective do we not have here, and how can we bring that in?
And I think the fact that you work at an organization that values having someone like you, even though you are the only woman in the room, my guess is the culture there is inviting those questions.
The culture is so great. We have our beliefs. One of our beliefs is collaboration. And you see that through and through in the organization. We say that together we make one great mind, and there's not so much a hierarchy of, it doesn't matter where that idea comes from. If it's a good idea, let's do it. It could come from all the way to the bottom, all the way at the top. It doesn't matter. But, speak up and raise your voice.
What is the biggest challenge that you've had since starting this position?
Oh, good question.
Was it getting acclimated? Was it getting your voice heard? Was it a certain project that you really wanted to happen that got tabled? Like, what kind of things?
So I think really interesting part about our organization is it's almost two different organizations in one. We kind of have our business side, and that's the group that keeps the lights on, brings in the money, and then we have our baseball side, which is everything that has to do with the stuff on the field, right? I have the privilege of sitting kind of in the middle of that. Most people are one side or the other, but we get to serve both sides of the organization. And I think that was maybe one of the biggest challenges starting out, is like figuring out basically the language of business and the language of baseball, and trying to balance my time between the two, and, where should I be putting my efforts, and, what is more valuable, and what am I interested in too.
What would you say to a young woman who could be listening to this?
Yeah.
And they may identify as something that's not the norm, and they're passionate about a sport or passionate about a genre of industry that is male dominated.
Right.
What advice would you give to them, knowing what you know now?
I would say go for it. Follow the people, talk to the people, get in the spaces. That's pretty much, I think, what I did. And it helps too to find somebody who reflects you in some way, shape, or form. Ideally, that helps you kind of envision where you're going. But find those champions around you that kind of lift you up too.
That's awesome. We're going to end on some hot dog talk.
Okay. I love
For
it.
those that don't know, who are listening or watching, the Cleveland Guardians have several mascots. There's Slider, what is Slider?
I don't know if anyone really knows.
Yeah.
No.
Slider's like this purplish, pinkish monster-esque thing.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He's so fun. My kids love him. But in addition, the Cleveland Guardians have this tradition where they have hot dog races. And right now there used to be only ketchup, mustard, and then onion. But onion's the only girl.
Yes.
Onion's the only girl. However, they just introduced spicy mustard. Spicy mustard is a girl too.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, But I have to say this, and I'm so glad I'm saying it to someone employed by the Guardians. I want to see more bacon because they do have a slice of bacon that's also a girl. She has gorgeous pearl earrings. I adore, and I post on the Cleveland hot dogs have their own Instagram page.
They do, and it's funny.
And I always post like, where's bacon? Where's bacon? And I know the people who run your social media are sick of me, but I want to see more bacon because bacon is another girl, because then we have 3 girls versus mustard and ketchup.
Right. Outnumber them.
Totally outnumber them. So I got my picture taken with Onion the day
Queen.
that you guys switched the name officially from the Cleveland Indians to the Cleveland Guardians, and swag was available. And I went downtown to your shop and I was so excited to meet Onion. There is something about the Cleveland hot dogs that make people go crazy.
Yes.
They can, just so anyone's watching who knows, you can have the Cleveland hot dogs at your wedding.
True.
At a birthday party. If you have a street fair, go ahead, bring on the Cleveland hot dogs. Yep. It is, and to your position, you have to use the hot dogs a lot, right? Like they are just, I feel like they are super, like they're celebrities. They are so famous, right? Yes. They are so famous and I love them. And okay, I'm sorry, I'm geeking out a little bit.
No, I love it.
But I think it was a year or two ago, they did this whole storyline where someone got traded. Was it mustard or ketchup got traded and went down to the minor leagues? Yeah. Because he wasn't performing at the race. Oh my gosh. Yeah. They run with it. They really iconic. Yes. So just because I want to know, do you get to see them on a regular basis?
Oh yeah. All the time. We love being able to bring them out into the community for those Garden of the City events that I talked about. We marched in the Pride Parade last year, and people were screeching when they saw them, like screaming like they just saw their most loved celebrity. And
they need a red carpet. I am not joking.
They do.
They are awesome.
If this job didn't work out, that was going to be the next one I would apply for. Like I was hoping to maybe be a hot dog.
Were you going to be bacon, spicy, or onion?
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like I kind of have mustard vibes, unfortunately. Like I don't know. No, maybe. Well, no, I think I could do spicy.
Okay.
I think I can do spicy. Yeah.
She's got glitter and like a Supergirl outfit on. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about women's voices and how to elevate them and sharing your experiences.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. This has been the Building Doors podcast. And until next time, let's build some doors together. Thanks for listening to the Building Doors podcast. Want to hear more? Check out all our episodes at buildingdoorsvo.com/podcast and follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn at Building Doors VO. We'd love to hear from you. So call us on our 24/7 hotline at 216-307-1917 and leave us a voicemail with your thoughts. Do you want to support the podcast? Well, we love coffee. Buy us a cup through the link in the description or at buildingdoorsvo.com. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep speaking up, and let's keep building doors together.